Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you very much for two wonderful presentations, which I managed already to see. It's very, very interesting to see and to learn from the experience of neighboring countries, how you are dealing in such a difficult situation for all of us. I will try to share my screen right now. Okay. Here. Yes, and I hope you see my presentation now. My name is Uma Kandalaeva, and I'm working as a country director for Mercy Corps operations in Kyrgyzstan and in Tajikistan. And today I'm happy to share experience of Mercy Corps implementing a McGovern Dole Food for Education program in Kyrgyzstan. Mercy Corps is, oops, I'm trying to, no. Next slide, I'm not sure how, oops, yes. Mercy Corps is a global non-government, international non-government entity which have operation in more than 40 countries across the globe. But in Asia region, we are active in 13 countries in Asia: Afghanistan, Georgia, India, Indonesia, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Uzbekistan. This is our operation as of now, and in each of the country, we as an international agency trying to address different needs based on the assessment we are doing in the countries, including humanitarian emergency, economic opportunity, climate change actions, public health, as well as food and water securities and governance. In Kyrgyzstan, we are implementing, Mercy Corps is implementing McGovern Dole Food for Education program, which is funded by US Department of Agriculture for last decades. And you see pictures of Kyrgyz children, primary school students who are our primary beneficiaries for this program for many years. Mercy Corps having this honor to have a portfolio from US Department of Agriculture implementing this program in a partnership with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health across the country for since 2002. But I would like to share recent experience how we managed to adopt the program during the last 6 months time period which related to COVID pandemic in the country. Just a few general information about the program. Then program is a very comprehensive, multi-components, having hot meals with behavior change, capacity building of our partners, infrastructure improvement of the schools we are targeting, and one of the very important component we have is the literacy promotion among primary grade students. Some key results from last few years, we managed to distribute more than 2,200 metric tons of humanitarian food commodities donated by the USDA through Mercy Corps to the countries. With these food commodities, more than 105,000 students are getting a hot meal on a daily basis at the schools. And for today, we are covering 510 public schools across the country. We are working in public schools only, and Kyrgyzstan, being one of the former Soviet Union republics, still have a very sort of Soviet type of health education structure in the country, where public education is free of charge for all the Kyrgyz citizens. This is excellent structure, but it's due to the financial constraints and economic constraints in the country. It is a very serious burden to the national budget, and Mercy Corps is helping to the Ministry of Education to achieve this serious goal on providing nutrition hot meals for primary grade students every day at schools. We were doing it for so many years successfully, and we included more and more schools at the annual basis with a recommendation to the Ministry of Education. But when March of this year happened, and COVID era begins, Kyrgyzstan faced this very, very serious constraint with the first wave of COVID pandemic. And from March, Kyrgyzstan went to the complete of national lockdown period. From the beginning of March, all schools were closed across the country, and all students were stuck at home with restriction of movement introduced across the country. Unfortunately, in July, peak of the COVID pandemic hit Kyrgyzstan so severely that it ranked on the first place in the world with the highest number of deaths from COVID-19. Very unfortunately, it gave a serious constraints to the public health system in the country, to the economic of the country. And of course, the Ministry of Education feels the pressure of closing all the schools from the last quarter of the school year, and all students were studying remotely from houses, online through the public TV classes and online classes from March till May, when school year was sort of going on online. Summer school break, traditional summer school breaks was seriously affected as well because of the still very high peak of COVID outbreaks across the country, restriction of movement introduced to the country, and epidemiological situation remain very serious. Then most of the schools remain closed for the beginning of new school year, which started in September of this year. Ministry of Education decided that only first grade students would be allowed to go to the reopened schools with all the sanitary measures, including school must reach all the minimum sanitary standards, but it's only for first grade students, and the rest of the students continue their education remotely. Meaning then September, also we don't see really a lot of changes with return to the students to the school year, and which pushed us to continue adaptation of our traditional food for education program, which we had an experience for many previous years. And I just want to make sure that you see a few of the adaptation changes which we managed to implement during this time period. In March, where this last quarter of the school year was still undergoing, we had more than 300 metric tons of remaining food commodities in the stock, which are supposed to be contributing to the hot meals at schools, but schools are closed and commodities remain in the stock. With the collaboration of the Ministry of Education, we agreed then we're gonna prepare and allow this commodity to be taken as a take-home ration to the families of the primary grade students. And Ministry of Education, being our primary partner and supporter on this idea, took over all the related costs for repackaging and distribution of the commodities to 74,000 families of primary grade students. Normally, we are having very routine, regular monitoring visits of our trained team members and providing thematic workshops and supportive supervision visits to the school administration as well as school cooks, which we adopted because of the restriction of movement, because of schools remain closed. We adjusted all these thematic workshops on online format. And you see a photo where our trained staff providing online thematic long distance sessions to the school administration. And all of around 400 online sessions were provided only during April and May time period, where schools were closed and school administration and teachers were working online. Very serious component of our program is dedicated to the capacity building of school cooks. And normally every summer we're using the summer break period for the schools, where we engaged school cooks into continuing education with the local vocational training schools, where local vocational schools are preparing special refresh programs for the school cooks who are coming and spending 2 to 4 weeks on mastering of their skills, as well as getting additional knowledge related to the essential child nutrition information. What to do during the summer period, where COVID is going on, COVID cases are going on up, schools are closed, and restriction of movement and quarantine time introduced across the country. We basically talk to our partners at vocational schools and ask them to digitalize their lessons, and we help them to prepare video classes, video lessons, facilitate the Zoom and WhatsApp platform to still make sure that we are reaching all the school cooks with online classes. And we targeted 85 school cooks who just joined this profession, who've been recently appointed to the schools on this particular specialty, and they went through the online session during the August period, preparing for the increase of technical knowledge and technical skills. One of the very serious component of the program, which we are putting more and more emphasis every year, is the social behavior change, where we are engaging into intensive communication, family members and community members of our primary target group as primary grade students. We have the cohort of so-called change agents, who are basically trained community mobilizers, who were going around the community members with the household messages and meetings done in a small groups with parents, grandparents, and other community members. That was very effective and very much engaging. We managed to engage community members and parents, first of all, into very essential nutrition information, which are important to be continuing not only at school level, but at the family level as well. What to do during COVID time? We managed to establish a number of WhatsApp groups with each of the community and share the same messages and materials through the online platforms. And you see the photo when we reach parents and community leaders via WhatsApp messages, via WhatsApp videos, and people were very excited. Then during the lockdown period, international agencies reaching them with these messages and caring about their nutritional status of their children. That was absolutely well received from our beneficiary side. Also, with our previous experience disseminating a lot of printout materials with very colorful, easy to read and easy to understand brochures and leaflets on child nutrition main messages. What we did a short animation videos and disseminated them across WhatsApp, a WhatsApp group and Facebook. I'm not sure if I'll be able, oh yeah. So very simple way which we develop these videos and disseminate. It was on a Facebook page, it was disseminated across WhatsApp groups, and every single family, targeted family, received it at home. That was one of the innovations we actually did. Oops. we also understood that people are more than usual time spending next to TVs, public TVs right now, because most of the free classes and lessons were broadcasted via the TV channels and online channels. And whole family were sort of pushed because of quarantine and lockdown, because of restriction of movement. Families were spending more and more time in front of TV screens. And we engaged national TV channels we use them as a platform to create and disseminate key behavior change messages, where we engaged famous local doctors and professors who've been talking and disseminating same messages what we repeated through the WhatsApp and Facebook groups. They repeated through the national TV, making sure that it's a simple language, understandable language, and it's presented from a very, very recognized expert across the country. And these messages were free of charge, broadcasted on the national TV channels. We prepared for this time period 4 different programs with a different level of people engaged and broadcasted across the country. One of the key components of the program is promotion of literacy for our primary grade students. And normally it was done by the monthly lessons observation by trained teachers, like master teachers who are coming to the classrooms and doing observations on and supportive supervision on spot to the teachers, how to handle classes for the primary grade students. When we had this chance, we managed to put it into online platform. And when master teachers engaged with the teachers at school via WhatsApp platforms and with the students in a group WhatsApp calls, and you see a picture, very interesting picture, where master teacher with the regular teacher from school are talking to the students and their parents at the same time, where teachers is presenting the class, presenting the lesson to the students, but master teacher is providing supportive supervision and additional sort of messages directly to children and to parents. That online platform was very, very effective, and teachers appreciate them during this difficult time period where many of them never had similar experience on doing classes online. They were not left alone with their audience, but it was trained master teachers who were together with them conducting these classes. When official school year was over, when at the end of May, and students were sort of on a school break time period, but lockdown period in the country continues, and many of the children were just stuck at home with no possibility to go outside and to play and to be engaged with their peers as usually they were doing. We created another platform, as we call it, online reading camps, where first we engaged and developed video lessons to the teachers with instructions how to engage a group of children into online reading classes. Then we help these teachers to conduct these online reading classes in an interactive way. And that was done throughout the whole summer and during the July period, where most of the population in the country were seriously affected, psychologically affected, with the highest number of COVID cases for their neighbors, for their relatives, for their family members. But to support their mental status and psychosocial status, we managed to organize children at family level through online reading camps. Number of online reading camps took place during the summer period, and June and July were very seriously engaging cohort of children into productive reading activities. We distributed a lot of more than 80,000 books with age-appropriate pictures, very simple readings, and we disseminated them across the schools and across the libraries. But when most of the children were stuck at home and had no, libraries are closed, schools are closed, and not many family, particularly vulnerable and low income level families, were not able to buy any schools, and stores were closed, there were no businesses working. What to do? We start to digitalizing the same books and put them free of charge on our Facebook pages and WhatsApp images. And this is the screenshot of one of our Facebook digital books. One of the books which we digitalized and put on a Facebook, who received the highest number of reposts and likes because it became so popular, and parents were engaged actively with the readings with their children because they were animated. It was with nice sounds and really easy to read and easy to understand for children. We understood it very well. Then whatever online activities, whatever online support we are trying to provide to the Ministry of Education staff, teachers, and their families, but hopefully the sort of peak of epidemic will be over, and at some point of time students will be able to return to schools. And during whole summer period, we were working very closely with our school administration and local authorities on improvement of sanitation condition of the schools. And if previously wash at schools were very serious, important component for us, and when we put a lot of efforts on introducing and putting more hand washing stations, primarily at the school canteen area, because that was the main area where our target population, our primary school children were entering, and we sort of worried about level of hygiene during the lunch period or immediately before, for them to wash hands before the lunch and after the after lunch, after taking meals. But now the wash at school became serious important component for all students at school, not only students, for the administrators and visitors. And we help schools to establish additional hand washing station in the hallways at the entrance of school, to make sure that every visitor, every student, regardless of the age, will be able to wash their hands at the point of entry to the school. But this is quite an expensive exercise, and it took a lot of efforts for us in partnership with the school administration. For the beginning of new school year, USDA, our donor, US Department of Agriculture, donated additional commodities for the Kyrgyzstan primary school students. We received these commodities, but we didn't know how many of the students would be able to re-enter the schools from September. And when Ministry of Education decided that only first grade students would be allowed to re-enter school, we distributed only 2 months portion of the commodities to the schools to make sure that students who are coming to the schools, regardless, is that only first graders, only second graders, they will have a chance to get a hot meal at school regardless. And this is what is going on right now. We are thinking and talking to the Ministry of Education about potential next distribution mode. If Ministry of Education decided to reopen school for other students as well, we're going to continue our distribution to the schools. If Ministry of Education will decide that it's not possible to reopen school for most of the students, one of the second options for us would be considered as a take-home ration for families with targeted students. Government and US government and Kyrgyz government seriously considered this help during such a critical point of time period. Really appreciated and tweeted about Mercy Corps Food for Education program globally just a couple of weeks ago. We were very pleased to see such a high recognition from the government side. But we as Mercy Corps really had a few lessons learned from our side, you know, how we did during this very difficult time period, what we gained as our practical experience, and what we're ready to share with our partners and peer agencies. We really paid off of the close collaboration we had with the local government. We worked very closely with the local government at each of the district level, as well as with the national government at the country level, at the national level. We worked closely before the COVID, and during the COVID time, it really was one of the key component or key elements where we had a mutual understanding, and government was engaged with all programs components. While the crisis happened, they know exactly where we are, what we're doing, and how we can help each other. We believe that engagement of host government is absolutely critical for non-government agency as Mercy Corps is. Also, we know that trainings and workshops should have a flexible schedule, and make sure that busy professionals as teachers at school or school administrations we need to make sure then whatever trainings and workshops, being to online or offline, would fit their flexible schedule, will fit their busy schedule, and would be supposed to be flexible from our side in order to get the most positive outcome. WASH in schools is crucial. That was crucial before the pandemic because of the minimum hygiene standards for hot meal preparation, but it became crucial during the pandemic, and definitely should stay on the top of our agenda as well as the partners' agenda, in order to make sure that all students, not only primary grade students who are primary beneficiaries of our program, but all students at school, all visitors who are coming to school, school administration, anyone who are entering school territory must have a minimum wash standard, minimum places where wash their hands properly with soap, with hand sanitizers. This is crucial for all time period. And of course, we cannot underestimate engagement of parents and community members, parents and extended family members, who must be engaged into the crucial information related to child nutrition, child education, because at the time when schools are not functional and students are stuck at home, they need to get the same crucial messages which they're getting at school from their teachers. These messages should be repeated and accepted by the parents and community members. That would be really contributing to behavior change of the students. That is all from my side. Thank you very much.